I am here with my Smackdown from July 21st, 2023 on FS1 this week. I'm here with the review and ratings for this show. Hey there, guys. It was looking like we were going to start off the night really well with Rey Mysterio versus Sheamus versus Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight, yeah. Whoever wins this match goes on to face Santos Escobar to be number one contender to go against Austin Theory for the U.S. title. As expected, the crowd was behind LA Knight, yeah, the whole entire time. And personally, I thought LA Knight was going to end up winning the match. And I also forgot to say Austin Theory was on commentary for this match. And of course, he got involved. Rey went for a pinfall one time, and he pulled him outside the ring and threw him into the steps. And for that moment, it looked like it cost him the victory. And then Santos Escobar came out to help his LWO friend and took down Theory so that Rey Mysterio could get back in the ring and pin Cameron Grimes for the victory. But overall, as expected, the match was pretty good, and I give it a B. And then, since Rey won the match, now we are going to see Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio next week on Raw, and whoever wins gets the number one contender to go against Austin Theory for the U.S. title. And this is kind of making it seem like LWO might break up potentially. My prediction for the match next week is that Santos Escobar might defeat Rey Mysterio. But overall, I believe they started off the show pretty well. And then we see Dirty Dom with the NXT North American Championship. Of course, with Rhea Ripley by his side. And then we see my man Butch. And basically, he's just saying he wants a shot at the NXT North American title. And Dom's like, nah, I'm not doing that right now. No. Like, just no. And then from behind Butch, here comes the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And he's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to have to make that official. And so then Shawn goes and gets it official. Next up, we got my two favorite women in the business in a match. We got, Charlotte Flair versus Skye, the women's Money in the Bank holder with Bayley in her corner. So obviously with these two talented women in the ring, I had high expectations. So the match starts off pretty good, and then it's interrupted with a commercial break. Shotzi appears on the screen and ends up calling Bayley's name, and clearly Bayley is freaked out. And so she abandons Skye and goes to the back, and is really distracted with Bayley, like, what are you doing? Come back! You're messing up everything, like, just completely getting into it. And that led to Charlotte sealing the victory. And then, immediately after Charlotte won, here is Asuka, the women's champion. And she went right after Charlotte's left arm, put her in an armbar. And so that was a pretty good match. I give this match a B. Next up, we got Santos Escobar versus Austin Theory, and this is not for the United States Championship. And the key to this match is that Santos pinned Austin Theory clean in the middle of the ring to seal the victory. And it was a pretty good match. I give it a B. Next up, we got another Hurt Business tease, so that's always amazing. And this tease was with Bobby Lashley, Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams. And I would definitely like to see Carmelo and Trick in the Hurt Business. That would be amazing. Next up, we got two of my favorites for the NXT North American Championship. We got Dirty Dominic Mysterio accompanied by Rhea Ripley versus Butch, which he needs to go back to Pete Dunne. But back to the match. In one part of the match, Dirty Dominic Mysterio went to go use a chain to punch Butch, although Ridge Holland pulled the chain away from him, helping Butch. And then not long after that, we see Pretty Deadly with Elton Prince in the wheelchair. And then eventually Pretty Deadly gets into it with Ridge Holland and Butch, leading to Kit Wilson leaving Elton Prince alone in the wheelchair, which was very funny. With Butch on one side and Ridge, they were both kind of looking down at Elton Prince. Then Elton Prince ran away, which was a very fun part of the match. And then Ridge chased him, and they were out of the arena. So then that just leaves Butch and Dom Dom. Well, and Rhea Ripley. And then, obviously, somehow, someway, Dominic always finds a way to cheat and ends up sealing the victory to keep his NXT North American title. Now it is time for the last segment of the show. And I think this is a good thing, but this show went by super fast. It felt like 1 hour. I'm not even joking. Oh yeah, and also they announced Karl Anderson versus Karrion Kross for next week, which they will be back on Fox, not on FS1. A lot of people don't like Karl Anderson and Karrion Kross, so a lot of people probably won't like this match, but in my opinion, it's going to be pretty good, I think. But with how WWE is with these two, they probably won't get much time, so it'll end up being trash. And then Jay Uso comes out to the ring, and as always, the crowd goes wild. Then Roman Reigns comes out with Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. There was a table and microphones in the ring. Roman put Jimmy in the hospital and says Jay won't get him because Jay doesn't get it. Roman pulls over the contract. Then Jay pulls out the contract and says they don't need a contract. Jay says their contract is their blood. He says this is tribal combat. Roman asks him if the elders know about this. And then Jay says it was their idea. Anything goes in tribal combat. And then Jay lists all the things that he can do to Roman. And of course the crowd's going crazy supporting Jay. And Roman tells them to shut up. And then Roman also tells Jay to shut up. And then the tribal chief puts his belt on the table and says it doesn't mean anything to him. Then Jay says he needs to put the ceremonial lei on the line as well. Then Roman thinks about it and ends up doing it. Roman and Jay then offer hands and go forehead to forehead to solidify that this is tribal combat. And as Roman is stepping out of the ring, Solo goes to Samoan spike Jay, but Roman stops him. And then Jay Uso super kicks Solo out of the ring. And Roman just left like nothing happened. And that was the end to a pretty good Smackdown. And of course that confirms what we all wanted, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns versus Jay Uso at SummerSlam, which is going to be amazing. But I give that last segment an A. And that is my review and ratings of Smackdown.